a person's true wealth is in the good they do in the world. How would you interpret it?
To start that is to say the opposite is there's somebody who lives, but they cause terror, maybe amass all the way they can. They look down upon people. I'm trying to look at the opposite that can be put together meaning. I do those other things. It's like myself. But somebody who says, wait a minute, I was created to do something, not for me primarily, but for the other people. And that's why maybe I'm where I am to do what I can do good. It's all about, it boils down to what I would call character and personality of a person. There's somebody who comes believing, this world is all, it's mine. I can get whatever I want. I can do whatever. It doesn't matter the consequences. But it's somebody who says, wait a minute, I would rather be known for what I did other than what I amassed. You know, so this proverb says it's a lesson to us that it's better to live knowing that God gave you an opportunity to be maybe in a place of influence where you can do a lot of good. We have seen that from all very prominent leaders in this world who did something and we remember them to date. But there are some who went there. And actually, by the time they were leaving power, they were taking the next flight to exile. It's a lesson. It's a lesson to all of us here. You know, where we are, where we work, in our families. Are you a terror, you know? Where you do all this. And of course, Kenya, where we are right now, there are people who don't care about their legacy. It's not about, I mean, I have seen today somebody, you know, with millions of shillings like this in a public function. Like this, the money I brought to you, one of the leaders in government. And I was thinking when I was coming, there's somebody who is sleeping hungry. Many people, for lack of just 100 shillings. But you're holding cash and say, hey, we have come on choppers. What is legacy? I mean, these are people who are literally saying, we don't care. But the truth will dawn on them when maybe there's a regime change and they'll be forced to take the next helicopter to the exile. Yeah. So let's do good. Let's be known for doing good and, you know, building relationships and all that.
Well said. It's true. Absolutely well said that you actually should bring that up because that's kind of in line with our conversation today. And it's really, it's easy to have a pity party, Dr. Mbae. It's easy to lament. It kind of feels good where you're able to say, woe is me and all of this, you know. But then we realize that you must be in a place whereby you move from the lamentation. And I say that, you know, Job, after lamenting, he pulled off the sackcloth and he went and cleaned up and got dressed.
Yes.
He did. And so now we're asking the question that as budget comes to be read on the 11th of June, just this Thursday, what does it actually mean where you want to say you're taking hold of your governance and saying this is what must actually happen? What would it take for a budget to be that where the Kenyan is not looking for 100 shillings put into their pocket? Where do we need to get to then be able to realize such?
Thanks so much. As I get to that, let me just say, I mean, this is thesituationroom. Let me just say, a time comes when in government, you stop chest dumping, you just relax. Even if you have nothing to say, you cool and first of all watch. Just a very quick one. We saw the PS for education, chest dumping, literally speaking, foaming from the mouth, literally. How schools the schedule cannot stop, how people must go and learn and all that. Look here. Tonight, I think for the last 48 hours, several other schools, actually one of them have been banned somewhere. Let's stop chest dumping. Sit down. I know the problem is that a lot of people in this government have no experience in governance. You know, the real governance, the real, you know, experience they don't have. They just came from the bushes and they're holding very important positions. Sorry. Very important positions. PS for education. Really, can you relax first? You talk something, then you'll be challenged by those kids. They'll tell you they want a half term now. So what are you going to do? You know, don't. Relax. You cannot run a government where, is it 71 now? Schools are closed. You must listen.
And kids, well over.
It's all over.
Well over. And the kids are saying, we are a bit tired. You know, listen to them and then think next time how you're going to structure the term. Let's not chest dump, you know. It's not the time for chest dumping. Yeah. So let me answer your question. We are very concerned, generally, and from the from the overview. A budget, just to explain, because you don't want to make this a mathematics class, is where you appropriate money so that the money can go to productive areas that will then spur the economy. At the end of the day, everybody has some money in their pockets. Right? Is where you say, we're expecting this amount of money this year, so that money is going to which sectors? So that then, like you are saying, everybody, if it's agriculture, where is it? We ask a question: which sectors drive the economy for the common people, not for the elite? Talk about agriculture. Everybody today has some chicken, some has a cow. They sell milk. I mean, look at all this. They produce something that needs to sell. Carrots, avocado, everything, everywhere else. Now, look at the Minister of, Trade Investments, and the Trade Investments and the Industrialization is where money goes that everybody else across benefits from something. So when you look at the budget in the first instance, you should see more money in areas that spur the economy of the country.
Okay.
Basically, of course, what is the most basic for the government? Health and education. You should see more money. Now, when you begin seeing reduction of budget on education, you get very worried. Of course, one of the reasons we have been working on and what we are going to work on next year, we cannot have 5 bursaries. We cannot have. Look at failure. We have been talking these things every day. At some point, the CJ, somebody who you don't think can comment on some issues, commented about that issue, you remember? And he said, it simply lacks political goodwill. Because you are holden by cartels, you are holden by the MPs. You don't want to disturb this. You don't want to disturb. You simply need someone to come and say, corrupts and education, be free. You are done. We don't want to go doing fundraisers every other day. That's not what we want, right? Every other day today, they are whatever, and health. The other issue, put a system on health so that you are sorted with social issues, which is education and health. That's number 2. Now, on SHA, we are told there is all money and all that. I've seen a lot of cases, including a testimony from the majority leader here, saying how they went. The bill was 700 or something, 600. Then SHA paid something, but he was on a fundraiser, and he took photos in a fundraiser. A whole majority leader who is supposed to do policy in a fundraiser because SHA was not able to do the yesterday even in Nduh. I was asked to go, and I looked as a leader. People are there like 500 doing a fundraiser for someone who had cancer. They are doing 18 sessions, each at 170,000 of chemotherapy. That's about 4 million or something, or 3 million or something. SHA is only doing 3. For heaven's sake, SHA is only doing 3. So I'm asking, I'm sick already. That's why I took health insurance. So post there, I went to another function, a kidney transplant. They were told it's 3 million, but we can only do 10%, less the balance in a fundraiser. People are doing fundraisers every weekend for health and education, the basic things that should be done. So when we look at the budget and we see that there's a problem with education, of course, we have told you the days. I don't know how to repeat. The first day, God willing, when you take over government, we simply scrap SHA. Already we are working on how much it will cost to go back to NHF and upgrade it. NHF would pay for your international health care. Everywhere, India, a whole check. Because we are sick. Not everybody is sick. So that's where money should go. But what are we seeing, is that one, we have an unrealistic budget. An realistic budget of 3.8 billion, 4.8 trillion.
Yeah.
That money is already in deficit of about 1.2 trillion. Now, ask yourself, we cannot work. We are not going to be working on an unbalanced budget going from next year. Now, this money, if you look at the amount of revenue they are projecting, it cannot even fit, because the revenue this year, they are talked about 2.7 trillion. We got only about 2.2. This is an election year. It cannot even go there. So what is the idea? Create a big budget, then you are going to borrow. And most of the borrowing is for consumption. Where do we borrow? They want to borrow from domestic borrowing. Yeah. Why? Because many of these people own banks. So that you go, get from borrowing. If you borrow from the Chinese loans, IMF and World Bank, the interest is about 2%, 3%. Yeah. But you want to come and borrow domestically because the interests are very high. Quite high, up to 14, 17%. Why? Because it's a whole issue of state capture. So that money now goes to the pockets of some people. So what are we looking at and what are we saying? Let me tell you in a nutshell what we are looking at and what we are saying. Number one is that we need to have what I call a zero-based budget. Zero-based budget means you have to go back and literally don't go adding the figures. They normally say you add some 10% from the budget of every year.
Yes.
Go back, and that's is a memo we had written 2 years ago, saying for effectiveness, let all the PSs come with their CSs, sit in a room. Don't tell us that this year we spend this on expenditure, we are adding 10%. What is it for?
Yes.
We are going to save that 1 trillion that is being borrowed externally. The budget we are prepared is actually 3.7 trillion. Already we have hived off that 1 trillion already, just by cutting down operations and maintenance, O&M, of course, wastages, money which you don't know where it is going. A zero-based budget means you budget for the amount of money that you are going to collect. Now, that's a zero-based. In short, you go back from saying, don't say, last year we spent on water this, so we're just going to add 10%. That's why you see the budget is increasing every year. It is possible to go back and say, whatever is not relevant, it be cut. Balanced budget means you balance what you're expecting with the expenditure. Anything else above is not necessary.
Dr.
Yes.
Yeah. Dr. When you look at the budget and the contentious clauses that are in there, where we see a lot of complaints coming through, is you talk about digital payments, M-Pesa,
in the finance bill.
In the finance bill, yeah. You know, now you look at other areas as well, those who are in the gig economy as well being affected by the same. And many are asking the question, at a point where this is being discussed and views have been given, why push something that clearly is actually working against you getting the revenue that you want?
You have asked a question on taxation, which which let me handle that now. We have said this consistently, and they know. One of the problems we've gotten, and I said leadership, it is about personality and character. Didn't say what you grew up knowing. Unfortunately, if you get to power and it's a wrong thing, you kill everyone. It becomes a disaster. Let me say this. Let me qualify. I don't know why the president came to the presidency thinking the only way to get money is over taxation. Now, that's a very serious problem. And it can only be cured at the ballot, because he will never stop. He believes in just get the guys and squeeze them out. Let me tell you, how do you allow a government to allow your opposition to go to the streets the first year? How will you work for the 4? Look at what happened. Sufuria revolution. 2023, the first finance bill, he just went and said, tax everybody. And that's where the revolution started. Now, of course, the second one of the 2024 now, where now it was like, no, this is too much. And there was a revolt. I mean, when I had the chairman of finance committee go to a national TV and say that we are adding 5% of bread, on bread VAT, so that people don't get diabetes. Now, I knew we are done. I was in that. I knew this is the time now we are getting done. And I don't think I want to be associated with this thing for going into the future, because I knew who can buy that. The moment you move from the people, you are done. So there is a very funny understanding here that we have to tax. Now, listen. They pretended when Mbadi came, a new minister said no taxation.
An expert.
No taxation expert. Yes, thank you so much for the clarification. They said no taxation. Remember? Like this. Then the pretense is out now. Look at the kind of taxation they are doing. And they are targeting where the economy is supposed to be growing. How do you target M-Pesa transactions? How? People are going to right now, people are not going to agree again to do M-Pesa transactions. How do you target mobile phones? And what happens to this finance bill is about surveillance. Surveillance on your cash transactions completely. Yeah. And then KRI comes in. Because now you have to get your ID, your PIN number there, they come following you. The kind of money. So, Kenyans, we are not safe. Right now, I mean, the issue of the phone, the issue of the M-Pesa transactions. So you're asking a question. And the answer is very simple. What happens when you overtax? Then let me tell you, people resist. People begin taking corners, right? People want to run away from this, especially without commensurate service delivery. Now, I'll tell you this happened to 2002 because we were here. Kibaki comes in with a very simple slogan, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. And do you know, revenue short from 200 billion that Moi was doing to 800 billion. Just a simple statement of goodwill. And then people could see free education. People could see Vika Highway. So 27 billion loan, but people can see, wow, if I'm going to pay tax to pay the loan for the highway, it's worth it. And of course, other infrastructure projects across the country, right? So the one of the things that will not be cured by this government, Dennis, is appetite for overtaxation and what I call fresh spending.
Can we tax citizenry to development status?
It's not. Let me tell you. What did you say? Overtax or tax?
Can we tax citizens to a point where we say we are developing?
I'll tell you this. Taxing Kenyans or paying tax is a very noble duty. And you know, anybody else over 18 has no problem with paying taxes. The problem they have is that I'm paying taxes, but the same government is squeezing the few who are paying taxes to choking them. And instead of that is being raised, instead of expanding the tax bracket, I want to insist on this as a political economist. The political economy says it's not just about numbers. The economy, the economists will come and give you numbers for you too, and those are the numbers. And that's what our team have been doing here. They come and give you figures. But as a political economist, you look at that and the connection with the politics. I must say today, paying taxes is noble. As a political economist. But then I will say, the thing line is, you must move with the people. Don't overtax the few. Increase the tax bracket. Let that woman who is not been paying 50 shillings pay the 50. Pay the 20. They put a person. And they are not opposed to. But they will come and tell you, we need a shade. We need better roads. I know there's a sub-county in Nakuru where they all agreed, all the border that they're not going to pay any tax to the county government. Because there are no roads. And they agreed. Until the roads are done, then their motorbikes are going to spare the spare parts. That's what they did in Girigiri sub-county. So what am I saying here? Please, expand it so that when I'm paying, I know I'm not squeezed. Now look at today's pay slip. You are cut on housing levy. You are cut on SHA. Remember, you cannot cut my pay without my authority. You can't. You can't just go there. Oh, you went there, talk to 200 members of parliament. They passed a law. Let them be taxed themselves. To come and tax me. Then you move to SHA, you increase NSSF, you go to housing levy, and all these things. But then when you go one by one, how is SHA helping me? None. By the way, as a matter of fact, SHA, the people who are telling you to use SHA, Dennis, it's so pitiful. The anybody who is called a state officer in Kenya, president, deputy, or the CSs, the PSs, they are not on SHA. They are on a private medical insurance by one of the top-notch private medical insurances in Kenya. Look at that. That alone, actually, if you went to a court of law, they would just say either use SHA or everybody goes to private.
Dr. Mbae, even as we look at some of these things, I think just for purposes of clarity, that even when we look at that question about whether you can tax towards development, it's not been done anywhere in the world. Nobody uses taxation as a form on towards development. Taxation is essentially for the government to run. To run.
Yeah.
I mean, keep the lights on, keep the water running kind of thing. But if you look in Kenya at the moment, that, the economists have told us exactly what's going on. The Treasury has told us exactly what's going on. Coming from the consolidated account, it's very clear that the first charge on Kenya's revenue is debt. So the debt issue is a big one that must be looked at when you talk about Kenya's economy at the moment. So if you're looking about 70 shillings currently, that goes towards payment of debt. Even this money that we're talking about that's being... When the minister, we read the budget statement on Thursday, the debt question may not come out as clearly as it is. That 70 shillings from every 100 shillings goes towards debt repayment. That leaves you with 30 shillings for this development and recurrent expenditure that we are talking about. So even these two things, health, education, are underfunded because of the debt question, that we're not looking at it. So how then, because we said we are looking towards solutions, we already know that Kenya does not have a revenue problem. Kenya can get the money. The expenditure is the problem. You have an expenditure on debt, which many questions are being raised about whether it is ODS or not. You also have an expenditure on things like you mentioned that perhaps are unnecessary, that then crowds out the necessary. And that where does Kenya go borrow? From the domestic banks, which primary purpose should actually be to fund the economy through private business. We know. So who is the one who's going to come and reverse all of these things? That's the question. And this is not even political. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Who is going to come and reverse this thing? Because it is apparent to everybody that it is going wrong.
As a matter of fact, you have put it very well. I can tell you this. Speaking for the last 3 years, 3 weeks with our team of economists, I can tell you they kept on repeating. Whoever takes over government next year, even as at now, the kind of problems we have already, we are in a very bad ditch. But somebody said, one of my mentors told me, when you're in a ditch, stop digging. Now, let me tell you, you have put it very well. Actually, let me put it in its perspective. Today, the debt is about 12.8. Do you know what? We're estimating. This is about how many weeks to the close of the financial year? We'll hit 13.5 actually. Going by the amount of money that you are borrowing daily. So let me put it this way. The problem that we have is that this debt, there is a lot of hidden debts, which IMF actually said that we don't see securitization as a debt. We don't see paid-in bills there. It's a debt. So first of all, let's part of all define the problem. Now, to go to your solution, I'll tell you this. We have put up like 5 measures, which I will tell you do 2 things. Right now, the revenue is about 2.7. They are only managing 2.3. It's possible to do double in this country. Number one, this is a very rich economy. It's possible to do up to 4 to 5 trillion Kenya shillings. So what we need to do is an understanding by the government that, look here, guys, we are in a very deep ditch. That's a fact. Badly. Because the kind of borrowing we are having has never been seen anywhere in the world. It's not even possible. I mean, I can't get this.
Well, maybe I think there are some countries who rival, but
no, ours is a special case knowing by our economy. The question is, look at what Moi did. Look at what Kibaki, because we have done that analysis. But the kind of what we have witnessed the last 4 years, within 3 years, has not been rivaled. Now, the problem is, we have been thinking, could some people be wanting to leave us in a ditch? Maybe they know they are going home. They just put all these debts and put them there. Now, before the first 1 year and the second year, debts were beginning to begin repayments from 2032. The last 1 year, we have debts that are about to be repaid 2028. I mean, there are people who just want to take these debts and run away, and they leave us in a very bad ditch and then watch us collapsing. It's so bad. It's actually immoral. But the question the answer you are saying, number one, it's possible to do double the amount of revenue we are collecting. That's number one. But number two, on the issue of how to handle with this debt, once we cut on wastage, then I'll tell you today. And that's why we are talking about a zero-based budget. You have heard a term called budgeted corruption? It's where there's some billion here. This 1 billion is just to play around. It's somewhere you just plug in and begin getting the money out. So once we cut wastage and we put money, and the question is it bad to borrow? No. But the question is, where do you borrow? Do you borrow for consumption or production? What I can tell you we have been doing today, and it has been proved from our books, money has been borrowed extensively, especially the domestic borrowing, for literally paying salaries. We cannot work that way because you are going to pay debt, but there's no production. If today you borrow to go put, industries in every county, in another 1 year, they'll begin producing. And so it's not going to be a burden. So what we have said ourselves, one, very quickly, zero-based budget will help. A balanced budget, first of all, we are saying, don't borrow for what you don't have. This 1 trillion is meant for some people to get rich, banks, insurance firms, pension funds that are going to read this money. It's not going to be possible. But once we take the money, do put it into the private sector, the businesses, put that money there, pay the paid-in bills. Right now it starts at 600 billion. Imagine, this is money that you are choking from Kenyans.
I think it's a little bit more than that.
No,
at the moment, pending bills.
Pending bills, right? We want a lean government. What did Gen Z say to 24? Please, we want a lean government. What did the president do? He added the PSs from 52 to 60. He added the advisors from, I think that time they were 10, 15. Right now they are 25. That is kind of arrogance we are talking about. Let's do the right thing. Let's do a lean government. Let's put all the money to the private sector. Forget about government doing business with affordable housing. That's another business for some elites. Cut all that. You can borrow, yes, if you have to, but put it into high development areas where money is going to come back. And finally, work out on taxation, it's possible to do double. And we are hoping by next year, we can do double revenue.
Now, it's been said for a very long time that the wastage that we see in the country is of a phenomenon, quantities or quality. Let's call it like that. But when you talk about the wastage that we see today, the president, he's traveling alone. His state house 17 billion, you know. Others are flying around 8 million a day, you know. If we just closed all the taps that leak in the government, what do we see the country get in terms of savings?
Thank you. What we are going to see, we can save up to, as at now in this budget, because we have been able to work out a balanced budget, a whole 1 trillion. In the beginning, just crossing taps. You know, O&M, we have slashed by half. Operation and maintenance, you know, all this recurrent stuff. We have cut by half, saving a whole 1 trillion. So in short, the money government is saying is going to borrow already. We are saying, live within your means. That one you have cut. Now, what else we are proposing, because it is important, because already the government of Kenya is a GOK, it has committed itself to debts. A serious, what I would call audit, right? Audit the debts. Secondly, help try to work towards restructuring, so that you are given more time in the future to begin planning. We can't do 70. We cannot, out of every 100 shillings corrected, we can't pay 70 and then we are surviving. Okay? But then, even the money that you are left with, if we can put it into the best places of the economy. For example, what is 50 billion doing in the budget for affordable housing? You are told housing levy is meant to do this thing. There's money there. Okay? They have put like 50-something billion in the budget. Those are kind of things we are talking about here. We have cut all those, and we have added money for agriculture from 90 billion to 300 billion out of this budget, and it has balanced. We have cut out the debt, because agriculture, you cannot squeeze agriculture. For example, it's not possible. We have added money there to make it to 300. So our budget, our money-inch budget, is balanced, and we have put money where it is needed to be, in education, on issues on health, on issues of agriculture. So the question we're asking, already we have saved 1 trillion as we speak today, and we are saying once we restructure debts, because we have a problem, the amount of repayments and the last 1 year, most of the debts, they are maturing in 28. That's very scary for a president who have been talking about the election. Before it was 2032 when he would be done. But now I think the reality is dawning that he may not even make it. So he's trying to grab everything and run away with it. Look at the issue of wastage. The president might have realized my time is coming to an end, so I must, and there are some countries I've not visited, and I must visit all of them, you know, before I start the campaigns. And you know what I could be, I may be wrong, but I would be very right. I have an idea that these are not invitations. You know, in government, what you do, you request for invitations. Please invite me so that I can come, because you cannot be invited this way. And by the way, you must not travel all of them. Okay? Kibaki was here. Just send a minister if it is serious. But if it's for show or some deals, you have to go. Okay? You have to go because you cannot trust anybody. Okay? But if it's a serious thing that you want to go and study some technology or something, you just send the relevant minister. But he has to travel. You cannot pack so many countries that I go. I can bet today, these are not invitations. These are things you say, please, I have an open window. Just send an invite, then we can honor them.
I can come.
It's unfortunate. By the way, Kenyans are just tired because they say one thing, expanded government. The minister, they had said they want them to go home because of wastage. They are back. The finance bills you had said that you want to reject, we were told by ML, they were back. The bloated government, where on earth can we have? How do you work with 60 SPSs? Doing what? Like how? Children's services, APS, really? Like everything else, you know, adult services, you want everything. It's not possible. This is so bloated government. By the way, it has to be lean. We have to have few ministers. We have to have 1 or 2 PSs maximum. We need to organize ourselves. It is possible, Dennis, to answer your question. I can tell you. Do you see these issues about public finance? All this together with all these budget things and finance bill and all that thing, it's possible to sit down, Dennis, with political goodwill and care for the people and structure something which is very sharp, doable, and that's what you're going to see. I can tell you the first business you're going to do, because of course there's another budget for next year, 27, 28, the first business is to do a supplemented budget. You watch for that budget.
Dr. Mbae, at the time when the UDA government was getting in, there was a promise that was given to Kenyans that all the contracts that were done out there that we borrowed from would be made public. Today, Kenyans are asking for the register as well to be given there. At the time when you are in there, you are inside government. What made it difficult for such things to be made public for Kenyans to just know?
I will answer you this question this way. We have one person. We are in a presidential system. We have one CEO of this country. I can tell you whatever he didn't want to be done was never done, will never be done. I'll repeat that again. Presidential system is where power revolves around one person. Okay? I can tell you this. Remember we had said about state capture?
Yes.
Commission? Have you ever heard about it? We had done Lanet Airport to completion. Immediately, word came around that it's no longer a priority because it's going to compete with the Eldoret Airport. It's when the big man says it's done. I can tell you this today. We have studied people like Mahatma Gandhi. We have studied people like Adolf Hitler. We have studied Nelson Mandela in the crisis of political science. I can tell you, Dennis, today, leadership is such that it depends 100% on your character and personality. If you have some things disturbing you since childhood and you have gotten power, you just do things that nobody else can imagine. I'm telling you this because it's important. Going into the next elections, people are going to be voting for 6 people, right? In the next year, from MCA, kindly take time to study the character of the person and the personality, whether they have some issues disturbing them from childhood. Because especially when they get power, I can tell you they use whatever opportunity to demonstrate what they are made of. Let me ask you, for example, we never knew. You know the way you talk and people see that heaven has come down already, that you are living in heaven and you are on earth. Now, let me ask you, then, we never thought that we could have a president who has a lot of fixation with personal wealth. We never knew, for example. We didn't know that literally you can shoot people. And by the way, I want to repeat it on record today. Anybody who shoots a live bullet on someone has to have express command from the chief of the commander in chief of the defense forces. You cannot. Please take it from me because I know. Anybody where you see a live bullet, either on the leg or the head, because we have been told. One said shoot in the head. Actually, don't shoot in the leg. Shoot in the head. The other one shoot in the leg. I can tell you. An addition of how many? Is it 20? During the Mafuta, the fuel protest? Dead. Okay? I have 24 in Nevasha who are shot in the leg. They're in their homes. So, we never knew. And then this is good to admit some things, because you are going to an election, that the personality tells you, you are raised in poverty. A time has come for you to make sure you also are president to be at par with all the former presidents. In terms of wealth, we never knew. Look at Kibaki. The guy comes. He even doesn't want even a road to be named after him. He doesn't want money to be counted after him. The guy had seen it. He had seen everybody. The guy had seen all the suffering. Being sacked. By Moi from VP. And the guy was there. So he was like, I'm the father. Finally, time has come. Guys, please let the economy grow. And you could see what happened. Look, that's the difference we are talking about. So as we go to an election, you're asking a very good question. Can I tell you something again? Character. Your personality, especially in power, it is what will determine the kind of leadership you are going to take on your people. I can tell you what I know and what makes Mbae here. In my work, you see it. Woe unto you. If I'm in power and I have the wrong personality or system belief, everybody will get crushed.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But the thing is here that the way in which it's going at the moment, if some of the things that you've brought up, if you don't have a lean government,
yes,
if you don't have economy facing with manufacturing factors, if you don't reduce your debt,
yes,
and if you don't end corruption, the economy will not grow, and you will not have a Wajiko facing budget. You won't. It won't happen. So we can politicize it, we can romanticize it as much as we want, but if you're not doing those things, it won't happen. There's no magic to it here. You don't wave a wand and hope a rabbit pops out of a hat. It's not going to happen. So the question continues to be, who's going to make it happen? The economies around the world that are thriving in any way, shape or form today are those who build and sell for profit. It's the basic law of economics that you will not be wealthy, you will not develop if you are not manufacturing something.
Yes.
There are capes all over the place. There are counties which have raw material that could turn into something, from molasses and cotton in Kisumu to nuts in Kwale and Kilifi, to tourism in different parts of the country, to flowers in other parts. It's all over the place. So what is happening to create whereby you are then operating in surplus? Because now we're getting to the formula. It's formulaic. What is difficult about getting to the place whereby Kenya is operating in surplus that will then develop the economy? Because all this business is rotten. You have a bloated government so that you pay people who are not worth their weight in whatever. You have a non-economy facing whereby you are depending on the taxes that you're collecting from a very few people in the population.
Yes.
You're depending on that to pay debt, to develop, to sort out recurrent expenditure. I mean, it's ludicrous. Then at the same time, you're stealing half the thing and you're putting money in the budget for things we know will not go towards those things. And then at the end of the day, you're having dinner dates with corruption and hoping that you can take the thing to bed at night. You're not dealing with the issue. It's not being dealt with.
Yes.
So can we just call it as it is and say, until you do those things, Kenya will not develop as an economy?
I'll tell you this, you have said it exactly. Actually, to put it in a plain language, we are surviving in this country by the mercies of God, because we believe in God. I can tell you, if we were to check where Kenya is economically and financially, every single day we are alive is just by the grace of God. Look now, added to that, look at the fuel. So a lot of things changes, a lot of going down happens just by that hike. There are people who just cut down a lot of production activities and all that. So you are right to say this. I can tell you, looking at this budget, look at the finance bill, okay? It's just a matter of being somewhere and going deeper, because the budget and the finance bill are all curated to sustain a political budget in this year. Simple. They are all curated to sustain a political budget. And I'll give you an example. Look at the rise on the security sector. Literally, so because you are not able to put money where Kenyans are going to say, what is this money doing here? You hide it in the security sector, where it's confidential. Okay? In NIS, whatever, all this Minister of Interior, about 200 billion. It's just there. Because we know what this country needs in security sector from Uhuru regime. You cannot come increase with 250 billion because there's no emergency. But we all know that is money that is being stashed out, because it's a money. It's very easy to get 100 million. Just say, give me from that budget, give me 100 million. In State House tomorrow, we have teachers. Each one is 10,000. That's where the money is coming. That's what I'm saying. We are surviving by the grace of God. And this is money, literally. And that's why people have a problem with even pay taxes. So know what you are saying. If the budget on 11th, unfortunately the parliament is captured, they are going to pass it as it is. We want to see what happens during the anniversary, whether this finance bill will pass it as it is. It's simply a matter of waiting and getting clear, because do you not change anything in this government? The thinking capacity, their belief systems on how they want to go ahead, the economy, like you said, as we speak right now, is in a very bad shape. The only thing that you can do, the economy will be on the ballot next year. I can tell you that. And let me tell you something we noticed. They are proposing to reduce income tax from corporate organizations.
Yes.
Yeah? The corporate tax. And we are thinking, how from 30 to 15 to attract people who are being asked to invest in the National Infrastructure Fund. You look at the things that you are doing. To do that, you change a whole law that you don't know the implication, because you want to get a few people so you can show the NIF is working. And those are the kind of things we are looking at, what we are calling mischievous, in a very, very bad way. So we are saying, in that bill, foreigners will be allowed to open bank accounts without a PIN number. It's in the finance bill. So you want to say, where are you taking us? Now, the change of nil return from June to January. And then you are saying, after that, there will be penalties. The kind of things you are trying to do to the people, it doesn't make sense. The excess duty and all that. So I can tell you this. we are moving on. Ours is to blow the whistle and to say we are not heading to the best of directions. This economy and what the kind of things we are doing. But do you ask a question which I want to repeat for the sake of our viewers? I can tell you this. Here we are, 4 years later. We are still launching.
But there is even an agreement. Yeah. There is an agreement between the UAE and Kenya. There is an agreement.
Yes.
There is an agreement. Yes. I'm going to repeat it. Yes. There is an agreement that essentially says the UAE is a large consumer of hoofed meat products.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The goat being one of them.
Yeah.
And it's written down on paper where both governments have signed. We even had the PS here who told us that, those things had been sorted out. But then all they needed to do was work on mechanisms to then have the Kenyan farmer have their livestock to a certain standard.
Yeah.
Now, I was excited about such a thing, and I said, this would be great because we do know that they are large consumers. And if the doors had already been opened, all you need to do is put this animal or put this meat on the conveyor belt. It's just that's what needed to happen. Sad to say that until date, one goat, maybe it's that one that was running around when the president said that goat would be my shoe.
Yeah.
One goat has not made its way from Kenya to the UAE.
Additionally, the president announced himself, not the Minister for Agriculture again, one man running the show, announced that there is a national, remember, some vaccination program so that our cows and goats can meet the standards.
This was the standard that they were actually speaking of, which made sense. You have to admit, Dr. Mbae, it made sense to say that if they're going to open the gates to say that you would accept Kenyan livestock, then you need to make sure that it is healthy and all of this. That was fine. But why not then pursue that as an avenue towards an economy facing Kenya? Why not adopt something like that where the other country has basically said, you have the goat, bring. As simple as that.
Thank you so much. Now, 4 years later, this year is not the year to keep stories. It is simple. Nothing has happened. Why? Either there was an intention to overpromise with an intention of running around, then moving around and putting the country together, then get the election. Because the issue of delivery does not respect lies. Delivery